Okay, Mila Falcha, welcome to Irish Granny Helen and to Nate of the Third Wish. Welcome to us, Nate.
Oh, hi. How are you doing? It's been a week.
I know. We should catch up more often.
We should.
It's getting harder and harder to keep up with the news. So
It
I have
is.
an international bone to pick with you because you're French, right?
French
Last time I
American,
checked, right?
French American, so you can choose which side of me you want to.
Actually, you straddle both countries at this point because here's the deal. Now I don't know a lot about this because I didn't bother to look it up. But apparently there's a gigantic debate going on. Should France take back the Statue of
Of
Liberty?
liberty. And the politician that made this comment in France, I'm just going to come out about it. I voted for him a couple years ago.
Oh, so he's probably at least at some point in his life semi-reasonable.
Yes, but I think what has been missed, of course, when you have a long interview and they take those two lines. He also said, but that didn't come in the interviews or in the reports, or he said, of course, the Statue of Liberty will stay in the US. However, the values might not.
Nate, this is supposed to be funny. This is our little short funny moment, and it is hilarious. Like, what would they do? Wrap it up in a tarp, put it on a barge, put it on one of those Chinese container ships with the stuff with the tariffs. So most Americans, I don't think, understand that if it were not for France, we would not be a free country. We would still be under the thumb of the British. That it was Lafayette advocating
Mhm.
for the colonies. It was the French government agreeing to go ahead and give Lafayette the money to give to, the Americans, the colonists. If that hadn't happened, we wouldn't be where we are. And if it weren't for thinkers of the Enlightenment, many of them from France, we wouldn't be where we are.
And likewise, if it
That's
was
right,
not for
because
the
we
Americans,
our revolution gave France the courage, really, to go ahead and permission to go ahead and be
and with
there.
World War II, we would be speaking German or Russian.
I think they said that. I think Trump's press secretary said that, which is just
I think she said German, but the reality is could be also Russian.
more likely,
Yes.
more likely. Because if the United States hadn't been over there, Stalin would have just, Germany was defeated.
So
The whole thing is
it
ridiculous.
doesn't exactly. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
But I do enjoy the thought exercise
The
of the
mental,
Statue of Liberty
yes,
floating
yes.
on its side back to France. Where would they put it, do you think?
Well, we have a miniature one in Paris
Oh, so it could be like the mom and the child.
because we have one too. People don't know that, but we
I
have one
didn't know
too.
that.
Hmm.
Oh. Is it me? I'm beginning to feel like the last adult left on the continent. Is everybody losing his or her mind? What is going on? It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And the lack of diplomatic skills is
It's
starting really scary stuff, right? So do you
yeah.
think the French people want it back? Isn't that kind of rude to take
No,
a gift back? Come
no.
on.
I mean, you can always re-gift. Isn't that what people
What
do at
country do you think
Christmas?
they would give it to? If France took it back, who would they give it to?
Canada?
That's a really good idea. It's less of a trip. They don't have to take it across the ocean. They could just
Same
visit.
idea, different place. Yeah.
Yeah, and the new prime minister, whatever he's called, of because I think there's several
Carney.
of
Yeah.
of Canada has been with Macron, right? They've been
They've been
yeah.
talking. Yeah. I could totally see the Statue of Liberty in Quebec.
Oh, they'd love it. Are you kidding me? They'd love it. I think it would be more appropriate to put it in Ottawa, but
Yes.
you need to put it in a harbor.
Yeah.
Well, there's the St. Lawrence Seaway, right? I mean, let's just rewrite history. Whatever. So, do you have a good story?
Uh, oh, it's not that funny. It's kind of interesting. There's those. It's about. We don't talk a lot about workplaces. I don't work in a workplace. You don't really work in a workplace.
Yes and no. There's nobody there when I'm
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That.
I'm the nighttime janitor. Nobody. Like one of the elves in a Grimm's fairy tale. I sneak in and I sneak out.
So, obviously, actually, it's the anniversary of the pandemic and 5 years. And the I know it hurts. So during the pandemic,
Quarantine.
during the pandemic, a lot of companies told their people to work from home. And so now, as you probably have heard in the news, the companies want people to go back to the office.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true with the federal government and Trump and
yeah.
but it's the pendulum that swung extreme to extreme. And people felt they were more productive at home for the most part. Not everyone. I remember colleagues or people that have difficult living arrangements. And when you're told to work from home and you're in a very difficult living arrangement, it's very
Yeah, you
difficult.
don't have a quiet place where you can focus and not be distracted, or you have other demands on your time. But the other side of that coin is many women uh, cannot afford childcare, and
No.
and some of them are also taking care of elderly family members. Now they have to go
Yes.
back to work in a
So there's this new trend of people working, going back to the office. Like Amazon requires 5 days a week, for example. And this is called task masking. So the pressure is basically to show that you're working hard. So
to
how does that,
pretend.
yes, to pretend, you're absolutely right. So how does that pretend, how does that work? For example, people typing very loud on their keyboard, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working hard. They pretend to go to a meeting room walking fast. Apparently, I'm not there, but there is this trend, task masking, pretending, typing loud, walking fast, pretending to go to a meeting room, even if you don't have a meeting, to give an impression as people go back to the office.
Well, you know what that is? That's a contagious spread of a particular behavioral disorder. I've worked with people like that 40 years ago. Always need to look important and busy,
Yes,
even when they aren't. It's a sickness and it's spreading. Society is becoming less mentally healthy. And I think
those
that's a
loud,
that's a perfect example.
loud typists that are doing this on perfect show, like I'm typing, busy, busy, busy.
Bustling around, carrying things, looking important, and
Hi,
accomplishing nothing.
hi,
There was an administrator of the hospital here in town my husband worked at for 40 years, and this administrator got laughed at behind his back because he did nothing. He did nothing all day. He was the expert at carrying a coffee cup around. He walked up and down the halls, slapping people on the back and, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. And he did nothing and got a lot of money for it. You know, the people who say, well, we're gonna have a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. It's really important to be there. And
Sharp.
nothing gets accomplished. People sit and argue and nothing.
No.
I could never work in an office. I'd lose my mind. For that reason, you know, that baloney that goes on. It's all performative.
There is always a discussion in the office environment, another meeting that could have been avoided by an email. Send an
Common
email.
sense. Yeah. It's
So this is this new thing called task masking, and it's just not good. But people 5 years later readjust to a work. It's a big readjustment to a working environment.
Yeah.
You have to deal with people around you. It's a big social thing. You know, okay, maybe on the positive,
Yeah.
a lot of people were meeting significant others at the office. Maybe that could lead to more romantic or romance at the office. Where did the romance go when
I don't
people
know.
work from
My
home?
husband and I met at work.
See, a lot of people do.
We didn't like each other, by the way. We still don't know. No,
So
I have a couple of daughters who have a different. Well, one of them teaches dance and Pilates, so she doesn't even count, you know. But my three younger daughters have become exclusively working at home. They have found jobs that don't really have an office. I mean, there's a headquarters somewhere, but the kind of thing they do, they interact with computer people, and they have groups of people. I'll tell you, here's one of my pet peeves, because you know how much I dislike sports. Everybody's on a team. Everybody.
mhm.
The medical team, the shop team, the business team. What is that? It's ridiculous. It's like they say, when men describe a tumor, it's always the size of a golf ball or a football. Or when women describe a tumor, it's the size of a grape or an orange. I'm just free associating. I'm making no sense. I'm sorry. But I just loathe team think. The minute you say team, I have a sense of going along to get along or getting stuck with all the work.
Let's work as a team. Let's all work as a team.
Never works out. I don't believe it.
I've noticed people saying that they don't work. They're not team players, but usually.
Yeah. I'm not a team player. I fully admit it. And I like people. And I get along with most people.
Well, this is a team.
Well, you can define it whatever way you want to, but I take
We're a
exception
team.
to that.
We're a team. For this show, we're a team.
We're colluding. Okay, shall I tell you my story?
Yes.
Okay, this is great. I could not believe this. Have you eaten? You haven't eaten yet?
No.
Okay, good. Your stomach is empty? Good. A Peruvian fisherman, Maximo Napa, 61 years old, went out in his boat on December 7th and got stranded at sea for 94 days.
Oh my God.
His little boat drifted in a storm and got pulled out to open ocean, and he couldn't get back. So he was finally picked up by an Ecuadorian vessel. It was sheer luck that he'd, been picked up. So they asked him, how did you survive? And he said, well, I thought a lot about my mother. I guess he has a very elderly mother, and he wanted to get back to her, right? She must be elderly. He's 61. But they said he was in really good shape for 94 days on a boat alone.
How did he do it?
Okay, that's the fun part. He ate cockroaches, he ate birds, and he ate a turtle. Now, keep in mind he's on a small fishing boat, so he couldn't cook anything, so it's all raw.
Yeah.
And how did he catch them? I've watched Survivor. How did people? How did he catch wild birds? How did he catch a turtle? Maybe I could see they're kind of slow, but sea turtles are not slow; they're fast. But he's a fisherman, so okay. Okay, so I have a question for you. If you were in that kind of situation, like stranded on a desert island or somewhere where you got nothing, could you eat cockroaches?
Yes.
I don't think I could.
Birds, no. Turtles, fish, absolutely not. I'm allergic.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, that would be terrible. You wouldn't be a fisherman, so it's a
No.
moot point. Let me rephrase that. If you were on like a Disney cruise and
This is the completely.
got stranded on, I don't know, Aruba,
Mm.
would you be able to survive? Probably. You could live on Mai Tais for months, right?
And the buffet at the cruise ship probably would be okay.
Did you know that you can eat nothing but potatoes for over a year and never experience a nutritional defect, a
No,
nutritional
no. Deficiency?
they're so nutritious. French fries.
I
That's
didn't
not so
know. That's
bad.
very interesting.
Did you see the people that got stuck? Since it's the anniversary, and I want to be careful talking about this because I'm on probation. But
I
did you
don't
see
know.
the people that got stuck in the cruise ship when COVID broke out?
Yes, with
Oh, did you
the
see the
mask and
documentary?
no.
Oh my God. There's a documentary about it. It's not that I can't remember the name of it. It's not that hard to find. It's something like The Last Boat or The Last Cruise, something like that. They were the ones that Trump said, don't let them come onto land. It'll wreck my numbers. Because they all got sick. It was terrible. But they were stuck in their little cabins
I've been. And then they were getting food delivered and
outside the door on the ground, and nobody could talk. And yeah, can you imagine the fear and the isolation? And some of them, this documentary, I wish I had thought to get the name of it. It's really interesting because a lot of them filmed, they recorded their daily diet. They had like a diary and they recorded the ups and downs of the whole thing. It was very frightening, very, very scary.
they must have movies.
I wonder if they're limited, like they have, but there's only a certain number and they can't
Yes.
get new ones. How many times could you watch? Like what's that
Devil
terrible
Wears Prada.
Days of Thunder?
Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, want to hear a little gossip? I just heard
About
this
Devil Wears
yesterday.
Prada. Do you know there's gonna be a sequel, number 2, Devil Wears Prada?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. But
guess
what's
guess who Meryl Streep is having a long-term relationship with? She left her husband. I didn't know that. Guess who she's in a really like for way over a year now? Martin Short, the comedian. Saturday Night Live. He's made a bunch of movies. He was the wedding planner in Steve Martin's remake of Father of the Bride. Oh, you are culturally deprived.
I'm not anything like Hollywood like I don't know.
Oh, well, that's why we met. So that I can help to round out your education. Full confession, I didn't watch the whole movie Devil Wears Prada.
Oh,
I read the book. I know what it's
well, how I'm not surprised. Yes.
I know it's the usual story. But Meryl Streep and Martin Short are in a well over a year relationship. They're not the kind of people that you would automatically put together. First of all, I thought she was still married to her husband of many years, so that was kind of a surprise. They didn't consult me. And Martin Short's wife died. Not too, couple in the last few years. She got cancer and she died. It was very sad. But they seem like an unlikely pair. Because she's all she's actually not as serious as you would think. She's the one who cries on command in movies and does a lot of really dramatic, serious stuff in movies. And he's just funny. Really, really funny. Did you see The Three Amigos? Okay, one of the things that, the problem here is you don't have children. One of the things about having children that nobody ever warns you about is you're going to see 70 million terrible, terrible movies, just bad movies. And The Three Amigos, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, and Steve Martin are like this crime fighting, and they wear, it's really bad. Really bad. I was lucky. My husband was willing to go to the theater and watch, I don't know, what are some of those children's movies? Toy Story or, whatever. Disney stuff. Gave me like an hour and a half break.
Oh, that's good.
Or see this sanity here, it wouldn't exist if I, hadn't had that little break. So anyway, that's all I have is
Me too.
some poor guy eating cockroaches. That ought to cheer everybody up. Now the contents of your refrigerator don't look so bad, do they? Okay, we're going to go on to more serious things.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
See you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye.